everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name's Amanda and in today's video we're going to be doing some easy salon friendly Halloween nails. So I really hope you all enjoy watching. Between now and Halloween it probably will be a mix of autumn and Halloween nails up on the channel, but if you do have any requests, as always, pop them in the comments below. So starting off, I am working on press on nail tips today, but I love to come in with the rubber colored bases when I'm working on top of these, and today I went for the gorgeous 05. I love 05. It's probably one of my favorite colors from the rubber color base collection. Now I'm going to come in on all of the nails and apply one thin coat of this color. So this is what one coat of the color looks like, and this is your base coat. So I'm going to pop that in secure, and as you can see we've done that on all of the nails. Now, as well as this being a rubber base, you can also use this as your gel polish color as well, so it can kind of work like a two-step manicure because you get your base and color in one, and then if you wanted to just do this you could then come in and top coat and you've done a super easy set of gel polish nails. I'm not going to be using this color on all the nails, I'm only going to be using it on 2 of them, but the nails that I want with this color, I've just come in and done another thin coat of that over the top, and as you can see it looks a lot more opaque once you add that second coat of color. Then on this now we're going to come in and do some foils. So I'm going to use the Kiki London foil gel. Now I just want my foils to go around the edge of the nail, so I'm starting off by just popping some of that foil gel down onto my Kiki London palette, and then I'm taking my striped liner brush and I'm really loading it up with quite a generous amount of the foil gel. And then I popped my brush down and grabbed one of the Kiki London alcohol pads because I remembered that I don't want my foils to stick to the entire nail. And when you don't want your foils to stick to the entire nail, you do need to remove the tacky inhibition layer that your gel polishes leave behind, just because you might find that your foil will stick to them in certain places. So on this now, I only want my foils to stick on the very edge of the nail. So I've wiped over the nail with one of the alcohol wipes just to remove all of that tackiness. This is going to ensure my foils are only going to stick where we're putting the foil gel. And then starting off with the striped liner brush, I'm going all around the edge of the nail. Now I'm not worrying about keeping this neat because the next step I'm going to basically mess it up. So for the next step I'm going to take my ombre brush and I'm kind of going to just feather out that foil gel that we've applied. So I'm going to go all the way around and just create rough brush strokes, and the ombre brush is perfect for this because it's got lots of bristles, so it's a lot quicker than doing it with the striped liner brush. And then as you can see it's kind of created this jagged effect all around the nail. So once you're happy with that, you're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds, and then here we have the beautiful foils. I love these ones because they've got the bright metallic colors but they've got that sparkly shattered effect. But the main reason I wanted to use these foils is because it had this gorgeous, I thought it was black at first, but it's kind of like a really dark navy blue, and this foil is absolutely gorgeous. So I thought it would work good in a Halloween design. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to start off by just pressing it down. It's a little bit tricky to apply foils on the edges of the nails when you're working on these little tip stands because they tend to want to fall over, but I'm just doing my best to start rubbing it down. And then I'm going to switch to my silicone tool and just start rubbing that out, feeling all around the nail and trying to make a good contact with the nail. I was struggling a little bit because as you could see my nail tip started coming off my stand, so what I did was remove the foil and then I'm just going to press it on instead because that worked a little bit easier. I think I need to get some kind of stronger blue tack to hold down my tips, but this is what the effect gave off and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was perfect for Halloween. Then in the center of this now, I want to add on one of the new water decals. So here we have the cute Gothic mix, and I wanted to grab this super cute black bat. So I've cut this image out as close to the image as possible to try to get rid of all that excess white around the image. Then I've placed it down onto my jelly stamper and I've started to add some water. And then at this point I remembered that the jelly stamper method of water decals doesn't work as well when you haven't got your tacky layer from your gel polish. So obviously when when we applied those foils, we wiped off our tacky layer. So what I decided to do was to come in with the Kiki London top coat. Now this is the top coat that leaves a tacky layer, so it's a wipeable top coat. You know, like how the no wipe top coat, you don't have to wipe off the tacky layer. Well, this one you do. So because it's sealed our foils in like a regular top coat would, but it's left on that tacky layer, it was perfect for applying down that water decal. So once I had stamped it on, I just smoothed out any creases that were remaining, and then we're going to come in and seal our water decal in using the no wipe top coat. I do prefer the no wipe top coat for the shine. I do find that all of the Kiki London top coats have their pros, you know, their bonuses of why you would reach for that one. So I love having all of them in my collection. The one that leaves a tacky layer is my absolute favorite for over stamping, which you will see further along in the video. The no wipe top coat is my favorite for a high shine, and the rubber top coat is my absolute favorite for any problematic chipping clients or any clients with weak nails, and it's also my go-to top coat for sealing in nail art as well. So I do find it brilliant that there is a selection of top coats to choose from, because you will find that they all have their bonuses, like I mentioned. On to the next nail, and I want to have a coconut down as my base for this nail. So as you can see, I've already applied my first coat, and here I'm coming in and applying my second coat. Now when it comes to coconut, I like to apply this super thin because it is a very highly pigmented white gel polish. I would say it's the highest pigmented white, or the brightest white in the Kiki London range. You do also have French white, but that's a little bit softer than coconut, but I love coconut when you want in that super bright white base. Then onto my palette, I'm going to add some of the gorgeous sleek Slate. This grey is one of my absolute favourite greys for autumn as well, by the way. It's such a gorgeous colour. And then I'm going to take my striped liner brush, and I basically want to have a stripy nail on this design. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking that striped liner brush, I'm loading it up with my sleek Slate, and then I'm just creating a stripe on the off center basically. So as you see, I come down with one long swipe with my striped liner brush, and I'm trying to let the brush do a lot of the work for me, and then I've come down and done a second line so that we've got quite a thick line. Once you are happy with that first line, I would recommend popping it into flash cure for 10 seconds before moving on to the next one, as then if you accidentally touch the other one, it's not going to smudge. And then we're going to repeat that step again. So like I said, as you can see, I'm trying to let the brush glide out and do a lot of the work for me. I actually find it really helpful to kind of hold my breath as I place down the brush on the nail, and then I keep my breath held as I pull that brush down the nail, and I find that helps get me a nice straight line. It does take a lot of practice, and these are by no means perfect. However, the striped liner brush has massively helped me when it comes to creating nice straight lines. Now I wanted to do 2 coats of this grey just so it really popped on the nail, because we're going to come in with a darker grey as well. So I'm just coming over the top and doing the second coat. Now the second coat is a lot easier to do when you're doing any kind of hand painting, because you've already got a guide underneath and you've just got to follow what you've done on the first coat. So we're going to cure that for 30 seconds, and then the second grey I went for is the gorgeous charcoal grey. So this is another grey that I quite like for autumn nails. It's nice and dark and rich. Now, before going in with my charcoal grey, I am going to clean off the previous colour that we used. So I'm cleaning my brush off using one of the Kiki London alcohol pads. You can also run your brush through some clear gel polish as well, so either your base or top coat, to pull that previous colour off. And then with the charcoal grey, I don't want to create thick stripes. I want to just create one thin line down the middle of those 2 lighter greys, and then at either end. So as you can see here, again, same as before, letting that brush glide down the nail and do all of the work for me. And I was quite impressed with how these stripes looked, to be honest, because I haven't done stripes in quite a while and they are a little bit tricky, but I was impressed with how they turned out. So on these now, I wanted to add a little bit of stamping, and I decided to go for blue pumpkins. Because that foil we picked up had a more bluey tone to it rather than black, I thought I would go with the blue vibe for this step. So we're going to stamp on the first layer of these pumpkins. So I'm always going to start off by cleaning my stamping plate apply with some acetone, making sure it's nice and clean. And then I'm loading it up with my stamping polish, quick scrape, and then a quick roll with my stamper. And as you can see, it picks up the image beautifully. When it comes to stamping, I always recommend using a jelly style stamper. So any of the stampers that have that clear, squishy jelly head. Now we've done the first layer of our images, I'm going to come in with the outline layer of that pumpkin, and for this I'm going to do it in black. So exactly the same steps as before, generous amount of stamping polish, quick scrape, and then a quick flick of the wrist to roll your stamper over the top. And then I'm going to stamp that down, doing my best to line it up as it is a layered image. You want to try and line it up as best as you can, but it can be a little bit tricky. Now when it comes to stamping, I feel as though stamping and gel polish nail art, sorry, are two things that work beautifully together. I love having the elements that you get with creating gel polish nails. So your foils, your hand painting, water decals, I love tying them all in with stamping. So once I had done all of my stamping, I'm going to come in and top coat. And again, I'm using that top coat that leaves a tacky layer. As I mentioned, this top coat is amazing over stamping. If you do any kind of stamping and you find that you get separating or pitting when you apply your top coat, then you need to try this particular top coat. This one does not separate at all over stamping. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's a wipeable top coat. I don't know if maybe it's because it has a thinner consistency. I just find it works absolutely beautifully over stamping. Now it does have a tacky layer, so after you've cured the top coat, it does leave a tacky layer. So you want to take one of your alcohol wipes and just gently wipe off that tacky layer, and you can still see that it does still have a brilliant shine. I just love it. Over stamping, it's my go-to top coat. On to the next design. Now on this now, I have already done 2 coats of coconut. So exactly the same base as we did on our previous nail, and then I'm going to come back in with those cute Gothic mixed water decals, and this time I've opted to use the spider web. I love that these water decals have quite a few larger images on there as well, so they work great on the more medium to long length nails. You will find that the Kiki London water decals really do cater for lots of different length nails. You've got ones on some of the designs, basically they're the same design, but they'll have them in smaller and larger sizes, so they're great for natural nails or more medium to long length nails. Now I've applied this water decal and it overhangs ever so slightly off the edge of the nail, so what I'm doing is I'm taking my angled nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol and just melting away that excess water decal. Now once you have melted all of that excess away, you can either file it away or melt it away with a little bit of acetone. I personally prefer melting it away just because it doesn't add any dust to the nail. Then I'm going to seal the water decal in using my no wipe rubber top coat, and I opted to use the rubber top coat because I want to add some crystals. And another pro of the rubber top coat is that it's great for setting down your crystals. So whilst that top coat is still wet, I have the jet black crystals from Kiki London, and I love these because they're kind of like a matte black, so I thought they were perfect for Halloween. I'm definitely going to try and use these in another Halloween set, as I don't feel as though I've used these enough, and they are absolutely gorgeous. So I've just set down 2, and then once you're happy with where they're placed, you're going to pop that rubber top coat in to cure for 60 seconds, and it's going to freeze those crystals and cure them in place. And then I've taken some of the gorgeous Mystic Noir. Now this is a gorgeous black gel polish. It has such a beautiful sparkle to it. You're not really going to see much of the sparkle because I'm just doing teeny tiny little spider legs with it, so it's a lot more, the sparkle pops a lot more obviously when you're doing a full cover nail with it, but I really wanted to add something different in rather than just the regular black to the design. You can still see the sparkle a little bit, it's just a little bit harder to catch on camera, but this is one of my favorite blacks. It's absolutely gorgeous. It also pairs absolutely beautiful with Moonlight Pearl as well, so I think those 2 colors would make a really nice black and white Halloween set of nails. Anyway, onto this, I'm just adding on some spider legs. I've not done anything like this before, so it was a little bit of a learning curve. I added them on quite thin and then I just thickened them up before popping my gel polish in to cure. I don't do loads of Halloween nails. It's not really a season that in the past has kind of pulled me in when it comes to nails, but I'm really loving it this year thanks to all of the new Kiki London water decals, so I wanted to make sure that I get a few Halloween sets up. Now, because we added on those little spider legs, we do need to top coat again. I didn't want to add any more thickness to the nail because we have already used the rubber top coat. So this time I've decided to come in and top coat with the no wipe top coat, as that does have a thinner consistency. And we're literally just coming over the entire nail to seal in those little spider legs. And then we're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And that is the third nail in the set finished. On to the fourth nail. Again, I have already done a coconut as my base. I wanted the middle three nails in this set all to have a white base, and then the thumb and the little finger to have the pinky nude base. This way it kind of just flowed as a full set. So on this now, over the top of my cured coconut, I'm coming in with the Kiki London base coat. This is the regular base coat, not the rubber base coat, so it has a thinner consistency, and I'm just going to use it like a blooming gel. So I'm leaving it wet, and then I'm picking up some more of that Moonlight Pearl and my stripe liner brush and kind of just running wriggly lines through the nail to create a blooming marble effect. So as you can see, it's kind of dispersing out in that base coat just like it would a blooming gel, and then I'm just adding on a little bit here and there, waiting for it to bloom. I'm trying to not rush it or overplay around with it, because it's kind of like one of those things, if you just leave it to do its own thing, it looks a lot better than when you play around with it. I just want to come in and add a little bit more black here and there, and the longer you leave it, the more it will bloom out. And then once you're happy with how it looks, you can pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. And then I decided I wanted to add a little bit of blue onto this now as well, because we've got a bit of blue going on in the set. So I'm going to take the gorgeous Sapphire Sparkle, which is a gorgeous kind of like a turquoise teal blue with a beautiful sapphire sparkle to it, so the name suits it perfectly. And just over the top of that cured marble, I'm just coming in and adding a little bit of blue here and there, just to add a hint of colour to the design and kind of just add a little something extra to the marble. I wasn't 100% sure if I preferred it without the blue or with the blue, but for this particular set I did feel like to carry on the blue theme I needed to add a little bit into the marble, and I do love that the sparkle that this one has. So once I had applied that, I'm going to pop that in to cure again for 30 seconds, and then I'm going straight back to that cute Gothic mix of water decals, and this time we're going to use the stars and the moons. So I've cut those out, and at this point, by the way, I did have to swap gloves, so I ended up running out of black ones and I had to swap to blue ones. Hopefully my black ones arrive soon, because I hate the look of the blue ones in my videos, but it was just one of those days. So I popped all three of the water decals down. So when I'm applying more than one water decal to the nail and I'm using the stamper method, I like to just pop them all down on my stamper and just space them out, so that you're going to have time to place one down and then go back in and get your next one, and it makes it a lot quicker than waiting for the water to soak in. So it just speeds up, which is brilliant for when you're working in a salon or you're working on clients and you're pushed for time. And then on this now, I decided to top coat using the no wipe rubber top coat, just because that marble had left the nail a little bit uneven, and like I said, the rubber top coat is my go-to top coat for sealing in any kind of nail art. If I was doing these nails on a client, I probably would make sure I added a layer of rubber top coat to all of the nails, just because it really does seal in things like your foils and your water decals brilliantly. On to the little finger, I wanted this nail to have the same base as the thumbnail in the design, so I'm coming in with another thin layer of the RB05. So we already had one layer down as the base, and then we're coming in with a second layer as the colour coat, and I think this is one of my favourite nude colours. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I love how opaque it is. It covers absolutely every imperfection when you're working with it on the natural nail bed. Over the top of this, I'm going to come in with the foil gel. So we're applying a thin coat of the foil gel to all of the nail this time, and then I'm going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. Now with the foil gel, if you're not using the Kiki London lamp, you may have to play around with your cure times. So if you're finding your foils aren't working, then either decrease your curing time by say 5 seconds or add 5 seconds at a time. Play around with those times until you find what works, but we always recommend using the Kiki London lamp. And then as you see there, using that same piece of foil that we used on the thumbnail, I just pressed it on to create this shattered effect, and I'm going to be using this as a background for my stamping. So I love it to have that shattered broken effect rather than being a bold strip of colour, so I just lightly tap it on. And then on this now, I decided we'd go for a bit bit more of a witchy vibe because we've got bats, we've got pumpkins, we've got spiders, we've got moons and stars, kind of like the night sky. So I thought we'd add in witches on this one. So I'm going to stamp down a witch's hat, and as you see here, I did get a little bit of image there on the nail that I don't want. So I'm just going to remove that with a little bit of alcohol, being really gentle that you don't remove the foil. And then we're going to come in and add on the little cute witch's broomstick as well. Same as before, this time I removed any of that unwanted image directly from my stamper because it's a lot easier to remove it from your stamper rather than removing it from the nail. And then we're going in with the regular Kiki London top coat. So again, this is the one that I said just works amazing over stamping. I absolutely love it. I do a lot of stamping. I love stamping. I feel like it's one of those things that works beautifully with gel polish for quick and easy nail art, and this top coat is just a must-have. So then I'm going to wipe off that tacky layer that's left behind, and that is the final nail in our design finished. So this was the set. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this design, and let me know if you have any Halloween colour combinations that you would like to see. I don't think I've ever done black and blue for Halloween before. I'm not 100% sure. So this was a little bit different for me, but let me know, like I said, if there's anything you guys would like to see, because we do want the channel to be what you want to watch. As always, do check out the description box for all the information, and thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye bye.